This video continues the last PCB solder printer programming tutorial. We align the template with the PCB pads, making sure there is no offset and angle. After the template is aligned with the PCB pad, we hold the template position to avoid offset. If you choose to identify only the PCB mark, you must align it. There must be no offset problem. If you are identifying the template mark and PCB mark, the alignment accuracy does not require very high. Next, we click on Fixed Template and Fixed Frame. Check that the formwork and frame are tight. Lock this. Then, click on the Z-axis to go down. The table is lowered, please be safe. Next, we program the locations of the PCB markers. Click Mark to set the reference point. Template mark and PCB mark are activated. Click on the red location. If you click on the two red diagonal marks, the CCD will move. If the red mark is not clicked, there is no value and the CCD does not move. There is another thing: if the mark on the left and the mark on the right are symmetrical, after the PCB is rotated 180 degrees, the positions of the marks on the two sides remain unchanged, and we need to make a third mark position. Under normal circumstances, 2 marks are usually enough. Then click on the two diagonal markers and their values will appear below. The 2 mark points clicked are the marks on the PCB. Then click Illustrate PCB to enter the editing page. CCD moves to the mark position. Move to the upper left side of the PCB. Then we go to find the mark point here. Click on the real-time image, click once and the CCD will move. Once you have found the marker, click the center of the marker. Then we adjust the brightness of the light source. The adjustment requirement is that the black and white contrast is obvious. The following is a reference diagram. The marker is white and the surrounding area is black. It is required that white and black be distinguished and the contrast be obvious. After debugging the light source, click the mark mode and the software will automatically learn to recognize the mark. After the machine automatically learns the mark, a score appears indicating that the mark setting is completed. Refer to the diagram below when making different marking points. The mark is black with white surrounding and is generally used to make template marking points. Once completed, click Save. If the mark point is irregular and has a special shape, you need to make the mark point manually. Next, we introduce manual creation and the scope of the mark search box. Here is the manual mark point. This is the automatic learning recognition mode. Let's demonstrate it manually. Click ROI to adjust the search and recognition range of the mark point. We expand the search box. Only one mark point is allowed in the search box. If there is another mark nearby, we narrow the search range. But the search range cannot be too small. Then, click Point to modify the marker point. Then, frame the marked point. Probably like this. Then click the Mark button to complete the manual mark point creation. Once finished, we click the Save button. In fact, it is very simple for us to create marking points. After clicking in, click on the automatic recognition of marking points and it is done. Next, we make the stencil mark. After clicking in, the stencil cannot be moved manually if the position deviation is very large. It means that the stencil mark point and the PCB mark point are not in the same position. The method of making marking points is the same, adjusting the brightness of the light source. The current marker automatically selects the third type. Then click on the automatic recognition mark. Then click Save. The same method is used to make the second PCB marker point. We will skip this process. If the mark surface is uneven, it will affect the recognition. Click this. Click this if it affects mark recognition. You click on Automatic Identification and everything around the marked point is black. Then, click Save. The operation method of making stencil marking points is the same as the above steps. Adjust the brightness of the light source to ensure clear distinction between black and white. Then click on the automatic recognition mark. Then save the data. I will demonstrate here how to manually create special marking points. I used two PCB pads to make the marking points. Under the pattern below, click on a similar model. We choose the second model. Then click the ROI button to adjust the search range of the mark. The search range cannot contain another marked point. Then click the Point button. Then frame the two PCB pads. Finally, click the Mark button. Click Save Data to complete the creation of special shaped marker points. After the four marking points are created, click Save Data. After clicking Save Data, a pop-up window will appear to remind you. Click Yes and the machine will deliver the PCB. This way the solder printer program is basically completed. Let's review the steps to create a program. This is to select the direction of PCB flow. Here you can go from left to right or from right to left, or you can enter or exit in the same direction. Then determine the length, width and thickness of the PCB. Then select CCD recognition mode template or PCB mark. Then select the cleaning mode. Then make the PCB markings and template marking points and you're pretty much done. Here is an introduction to the setting of the coordinate position of the cleaning template. This is the starting point of the coordinates for cleaning, that is, the origin position. The coordinate position is approximately in the PCB conveying channel, the position of the fixed channel. The position of 726毫米 is here. This is the starting point. The parameter 170毫米 below represents the distance of 170毫米 for cleaning backwards. Move 170毫米 to the rear. In fact, it is 70毫米 larger than the width of the PCB. This is the automatically generated value. You can also modify it to be longer. There are two parameters below, one for manual cleaning and one for automatic cleaning. This means how many PCBs need to be cleaned after the PCB solder printing is completed, cycle time. Manual indicating the number of cycles after which the machine reminds the operator to clean. Today's video ends here. The next video will continue to introduce solder printer programming and how to fine-tune the coordinates if the solder is offset after printing. I hope you can like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.